All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. WrestleZone's Bill Pritchard here with you. I am joined by the official host of Effie's Big Gay Brunch 2021, Pollo Del Mar. We're going to preview the event coming up this weekend. You can catch it out in Tampa or on Fight. Saturday, April 10th, kicks off at 11 a.m. How you doing?
I am I am great. I'm getting some feedback in here myself. So I'm doing great. And this is not how I expected to make my big WrestleZone uh, podcast debut, but it is what it is. It's WrestleMania week. It is the collective weekend, and I'm on the road heading to the show.
Nothing ever goes to plan.
Never.
WrestleMania weekend, you always have a wrench thrown in your plans, but I'm glad you can join us. We've known each other for a few years. You've been around the wrestling business, involved in it on the West Coast. I know you've done some work in California, and now you're kind of branching out. This is a big opportunity for you. So just talk about how you linked up with EFFY and kind of your feelings going into it, what it means to you personally.
Yeah, I would love to. I have been around the professional wrestling industry my whole life, actually. I as a child was in love with this. And so the opportunity to work in this industry and work in professional wrestling fell into my lap a few years ago in California. And it just has been a lifelong passion for me. So this really is a huge opportunity. Tomorrow, Effie's Big Gay Brunch and Game Changer Wrestling are presenting the largest collective of LGBTQ plus professional wrestling talent and personalities you're going to find anywhere. And it's just such a gift to be part of that show and that experience. So I'm really looking forward to getting to meet everybody. How I met EFFY, actually. EFFY and I are going to be part of an upcoming 2021 documentary film called Out in the Ring, produced by Roy Levy, and it really chronicles the people who are out and LGBTQ plus living their dreams in the world of professional wrestling. And actually, I'm going to be helping film some of that, like the last little bits of footage that we need to get that film together this weekend in Tampa. So it's very exciting for me. And the way this really happened is I went up and did a Twitch stream with Zicky Dice, former NWA World Television Champion. And it was EFFY and Zicky and I. And I heard them in the other room, and I heard Zicky saying, like, you need to put her on Big Gay Brunch. You need to put him on Big Gay Brunch and get him part of it. And I was in the other room. I was doing my makeup, and I was like, he's right, EFFY. He's right. That's how it happened.
I love Zicky. I will say shout out to him. Thank you for the tip. It was a good idea. And then really
just
quick,
the tip, Zicky, just the tip. Anything more than that is not a good idea.
Just real quick, I want to mention the trailer's out now. Some of the other names involved are EFFY, Kiera Hogan, Sonny Kiss, Dark Sheik, Paro. If you just search Out in the Ring documentary, you can find the trailer on social media. Is there I know you said you're still working on filming, but is there any kind of window for a release date?
God, the actual plan, so I've been involved in this. I was one of the first people that they contacted, and I was legitimately shocked that they responded that they reached out to me. I was like, are you sure you're like, me? I haven't done anything. But COVID really threw a wrench into that plan. And so I think that extended it more, because the original thought was that this film will be out in 2020. So I think that they're looking to maybe hit the fall series this year, the fall series of film festivals, and let it make its rounds. I want to say that, legendary people like Sue Green is going to be in this film also. Sue Green, a former NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion, and she's just got involved. I think she was just inducted into the Carolina Hall of Fame for professional wrestling. There's going to be a lot more names. Jordan Blade and Danny Jordan both are going to be joining this. It's the Double Jordans, where they're both coming into the show, the film. We have just so many incredible people. I know that Billy Dixon's going to be in it. Big shout out to all these incredible people. Sonny Kiss, I think you already mentioned, just a number of people that are just so talented. And for me, being on the periphery, really, like being very localized in what I've done, it is just mind-blowing and such a gift to be part of something like this that ideally young people in 5, 10, 15 years will look back at this and be like, oh, you know, there is a place for me in the world of professional wrestling because look what came before.
Like I said, you could check out, just search Out in the Ring or Out in the Ring documentary, and it's pretty easy to find on social media. It's been on wrestling websites, outsports.com.
For sure.
What's the other one? Advocate.com. So
yeah, the Advocate I was really excited. You know, the Advocate is the largest LGBTQ plus publication in the world, and to have our film featured on the Advocate, it was just mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mention me in it, but that's because I'm definitely not the star. I'm definitely not the name of this. But I'm always just happy to be invited to the party.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are a headliner for this event. You're the host of EFFY's Big Gay Brunch. It's the second one, but this is the first one on WrestleMania weekend. I know it was.
Yeah.
Going into last year, it was pretty crazy as far as some of the themes that we had. The collective carried some of them over into the October event, but this one and For the Culture are significant because for people watching, it's a wrestling event, a way to bring awareness to the respective community putting them on. But this one feels like it's I want to say more structured, but like it's not just about promoting awareness this time. It's more I'm trying.
You mean Big Gay Brunch specifically?
Yeah, like it just seems like the last time out, it was like, all right, let's see what we can put out there, and it's more about awareness. But this is like the event itself has some really great matchups, and it's a way to deliver that message too, instead of the message and then the matches. If that
right. But what you're talking about, Bill, here is the fact that this isn't the first time out. The first time out, you have to I think EFFY and Game Changer and everybody involved in that first show wanted to say, look, we've always been here. You know, you've seen us from all of your favorite indie promotions. Now we're coming together to do this thing together. The first one was a statement, and it was a statement not just in terms of the way it was promoted, but it was a statement in the fact that it type of the am I there? Because I saw myself.
Yeah.
So the event sold out. It lived up to the hype of itself, and it surpassed the hype because it wasn't just a gay wrestling event. It was considered by many people the highlight of the collective's weekend, and it put on some incredible matches. So now it has credibility, right? It has people maybe who only wanted to go to that first weekend that we did it last year. I didn't do it. It wasn't we. I just happened to be part of this year's we, right? Like it's been done before. It's proven itself. And I think that event in so many ways, the success of that event, I think it speaks actually to the experience of every person who's been on this show as an LGBTQ plus performer. Like you feel like you have to go in, you have to walk through the door and kill it 5 times harder than anybody else because you've got something to prove. You have to prove that you fit, that you belong, that you can put asses in seats, that you can do what it is that you love to do. And the bar is set higher for you because the expectations of you are lower. And I think that the first show did that. And now people are returning. There's people all over the country who want to talk about this show because who are not even necessarily LGBTQ, because they saw the first show and they're like, holy shit, that was a spectacle. It was great professional wrestling. And one of the things I've said, Bill, about this particular show is for the generalized audience, don't let the fact that these performers are LGBTQ plus gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, whatever it is that you may not identify with, don't let that overshadow the fact that these are some of the top names in independent professional wrestling. These are really skilled athletes and performers. I'm not included in that, but like these are really talented professional wrestlers, and you are going to see that first and foremost. That's going to be front and center. The sexuality is going to be kind of like the shiny drapes that are wrapped around it, but when those get pulled back, what you're going to see behind it are skilled professional wrestlers.
Yeah, I think I kind of stumbled around my words to start, but it's this one. I think this one's easier to accept for fans that weren't sure what the first one was, because now you're like, oh, it's a really great show with really talented people.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's not this thing that I don't understand anymore. I have a base of what to expect here, and it's like I feel like I don't know. I kind of like immediately as it was announced, I was kind of like, all right, this is gonna be awesome. It's on board. Like I kind of like know what EFFY's all about. I know what some of the performers, like I'm familiar with the work, but I'm like, I trust that this is going to be, EFFY, but then also, a platform for all of these other people that maybe aren't getting opportunities elsewhere. And then you see this time around, like I'm looking at the match card, and we could talk about individual matches, but AJ Gray's on here, Billy Dixon's on here, JD Drake's on here, Paro, like there's like names that have recognition that have been on television, and then you have up and coming names like Devin Monroe, and Dark Sheik's been around for years and years and years, like as a promoter and wrestler, and it's just like it's not one thing. It's really cool to kind of see what kind of matches are being created here, because it's just more about like, okay, we have the attention, we proved we can put on this event, and now it's it's something to like keep the fans coming back, so to speak. I think you lost. Okay, I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we'll see if that resumes. Oop, we lost Pollo. All right, we will see if we can get Pollo back right away, but for now, I will run down the match card. As I said, we'll talk about individual matches. Soul on a pole match, EFFY versus Ace Perry. Dog collar match, or I'm sorry, pup collar match, AJ Gray versus Billy Dixon. MV Young versus JD Drake. Edith Still Life, that's Still Life Apricots and Pears. Oop, there we go. We got you back.
You're never gonna believe what happened. It's so effing hot here. My phone actually overheated and turned itself off.
Oh. Wow.
I've never ever seen that. I had to put the phone in front of an air conditioner. I'm like, what the hell happened? Anyway, yeah. So again, it's pro wrestling. It's the absolute craziest week of the year. So the lunacy is to be expected, I guess.
Hey, we started the call saying throw a wrench in the plans, overheating phone. I've had that happen before. So yeah, go with it, right? But
absolutely.
I just started getting in. I was reading the match card a little bit, but a soul on a pole match. It's EFFY against Ace Perry. A pup collar match.
Are you familiar with the background of that, Bill? That match?
Are you familiar with it? A little bit.
So, yeah, so last year, as you mentioned, the stories have carried over a little bit. So last October, EFFY and who's in this match, the soul on the pole?
Ace
AJ Gray?
Perry.
No. Ace Perry, right. So Ace Perry challenged Effie to his dog, like in a match for his dog, and Effie said, "I will never give you my dog, Cranberry. You're gonna have to put your soul on up for the match." So Effie won Ace Perry's soul last October, and now Ace Perry's been really missing it, so he wants it back. So they're doing it in a soul on a pole match. I I just promised them. I was like, by the way, I'm not going to look like this tomorrow. And I did promise them I will try my absolute best not to like burst into the ring during this match and drop it low on that pole. But it's very hard not to dance on a pole when you see one. It's like, come on, make it rain.
Hey, who knows? You have a crowd this time, so
Absolutely.
you might.
Mama's got bills to pay. Drop it low, make it rain.
The second match is the pup collar match. That's AJ Gray against Billy Dixon, and then I'll run down the matches really quick. But MV Young versus JD Drake. Edith Still Life, might know Still Life as Apricots and Pears was.
Yep.
Okay. Versus Devin Monroe, Dark Sheik versus AC Mac, Paro's Twink Hunter Tag Gauntlet, and the Boy Butter Slippery Scramble. So there's some fun matches on here. There's, as you just explained, like there's some continuity in the show. I'm trying to think. This is not the first soul match, but this is, I think, the first one that's spanned multiple
on a pole.
events. Yeah, on a
Yeah,
pole. And you know how wrestling in a pole, it's just like, just like you remember.
So, there's so many things that stand out about this. Of course, like Paro's Twink Gauntlet last year they did, and now this is a tag team Twink Gauntlet. So they're bringing in some great tag teams from all over. We've got the Runway coming in. We've got Petty and Pink. So don't get me started on Petty and Pink. They're just too much for me. With their bullying, they've been bullying me a lot on social media the last week, and I'm like a little over it. So I might have to show those bitches what's up. But like when I'm all done up, I'm like the nicest person. But when I'm not, I'm like, you're really working my patience right now. And so they're going to have that Twink Gauntlet with Pero tag teams, and we're going to see if he can crush some tag teams. The thing that I think a lot of people are looking forward to is actually that Edith Surreal match versus Devon Monroe, because both of them have had phenomenal matches in the recent past with Dark Sheik. And so, both of them were like standouts on each of their respective shows, and now they're going to be facing off against each other. Both of them, by the way, lost to Dark Sheik on their respective shows. So we're going to find out if maybe Dark Sheik was, victorious, but maybe Dark Sheik wasn't the reason that those matches were a highlight reel. So it could be Devon and Edith putting on a real classic, and I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
If I'm putting you on the spot, any one in particular you're looking forward to the most, whatever reason?
In terms of matches,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to Pero kicking Petty and Pink's ass. That's the match I'm most looking forward to. And I will say that anytime that I have an opportunity, one of the things I wanted to say right before I got cut off before we started doing the match rundown is, one of the reasons I think that this show is going to be so incredible is because you are bringing together people who are not just individual performers from all over the country. We're bringing together people who are like really creative minds around the country, because people like Billy Dixon, like Dark Sheik, like these are like EFFY. These are people who they've created their own spaces for themselves in their respective parts of the world, right? They're doing their own amazing promotional work. They're not just in-ring performers, but they're promoters, and personalities are fantastic. And then when you bring all of them together, it's like melding the fantastic LGBTQ minds from all over the country and making this one amazing buffet of like a little bit of everything. But in terms of the matches that I'm looking forward to the most, I'm very familiar with Dark Sheik, who, as I mentioned, is going to be in the Out in the Ring documentary with me. She is a homegrown hero for us. She created Hood Slam for Bay Area, Northern California professional wrestling fans. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. Most people have never seen anything like Hood Slam. But I am specifically excited to get to see this match because this will be my first time live and in person seeing Dark Sheik competing as her authentic true self. And the idea of somebody, of getting to witness somebody who has created such an amazing space for other people back home at Hood Slam, getting to now be true and authentic to who she is in other places in front of a huge audience like this is going to be, plus not to mention those who are going to be watching us on Fight TV. You know, that's really special to me. That really hits me right here, because I know, not firsthand, but I can only imagine how terrifying the whole idea for her was to open up and share her story with the world, knowing that she had this highly successful promotion that could possibly take a hit from it, and now see her validated everywhere. It just feels really good for me. And she's also just a lovely person, you know.
Yeah. It's good to see the reception for that. If you don't know, like you mentioned, she's the creator of or owner of Hood Slam. Her story is very easily found. I just was reading an article in the San Francisco Chronicle about that. And,
Yep, huge. It was a huge feature article. Amazing.
It's really informative, just to learn about, like you said, taking a risk, potentially having the promotion take a hit, to now where we're having I'll call it a tentpole event at the Collective, where it's just a safe space. It's not, I feel like it's just not really labeled as much as accepted anymore. And it's just, oh yeah, here's EFFY show. Here's the performers. Not like, I hope it continues to move in the right direction. It feels like leaps and bounds, even just from October, because, like you already had the COVID stuff, like, and now that seems like it's working itself out. And now, like we said at the opening of the call, it's met with less resistance, I guess is the best way to put it. And now it's just a brand. It's, what you're getting, you're gonna have an entertaining time watching or attending, and it's a spectacle. It's another brand of wrestling, but it's a spectacle. Like, and I like that, because I feel like TV wrestling for the past, I'll say like 6 or 7 years, it's like you have one thing, and then now with the internet and social media, you're finding all of these different things, and it's not regionalized anymore. Like Hood Slam was kind of there in the beginning, and I'm trying to think of what was the one in Gainesville, because that's where I first saw EFFY. I can't think of it right now. Fest Wrestling, and that was just like bar, kind of like, in a bar, like crazy wrestling. Like, here's the theme. We're just gonna go out there. It's a show, but the talent backs up the show. It's gonna be a good weekend. Who do I got? I got doing shout outs. Make sure you one of our commenters, James, told you to be careful. Make sure you use WD-40 on those joints of yours before attempting to pole dance this weekend.
You know what? I'm hoping that they use WD-40 on the pole, just so I can really, really drop it low. I want to say also, I do want to give, while we're talking on this subject, I think it's really important for me to show appreciation to you, Bill, and to WrestleZone, because, I am I'm going to toot my own horn here. Like, I'm a skilled journalist. I have like a pretty prolific journalistic background, but because of the persona that I represent in the world of professional wrestling, and because of who I am outside of the world of professional wrestling, sometimes my skills, and this is where it correlates between what we were talking about this show, where people now are like, oh, the gay thing is an aside. Like, this is a phenomenal friggin' show, and, it's dressed a little differently than I would say. Well, sometimes I felt that way as a journalist, where depending on what I wanted to write about and to whom I was submitting that, the behind the scenes had to be a little bit more secretive, and I went to WrestleZone. I provided you guys with some, pretty sound quality content, and you and the site and everyone associated with it have done nothing but embrace that about me, and I'm really grateful for that, because there was a time, as is published in my personal story on the Huff Post, where I did not think that this was a world that was open to me, and I've been very beyond grateful that places like WrestleZone, that places like the Collective, like Wrestling for Charity, which is my home promotion in San Francisco, like a small organization, that they opened doors for me, and now as a result, one after another, here I am going to Effie's Big Gay Brunch to be the host of the entire event, and it's just it very much touches my heart that this has been something that's been presented to me as an opportunity.
I appreciate you saying that. I just will say I feel like I'm lucky to have the platform I do, and if I can help anybody else out, that's what I want to use my platform for. So
well, you don't have to help me out, because I'm already way, way, way out, Bill. But
I was trying to think
like a leg up.
Fair enough, but I was trying to think before we got on the call of when we actually first connected, because it was when you were still doing some stuff for HuffPost, and I was just I don't remember. It was just like you kind of like were just like, hey, I have this wrestling article. Are you interested? Or it was like, I have this interview. Are you interested? I was like, okay, like it's a good article. Like, yeah, let's go with it. Like I never really thought of, who wrote it, what your name is, what you look like. I was just like, okay, and we've kind of kept in touch on and off over the years. And I'm kind of, flattered that you said that, but I just want to help people. So,
but and I didn't say that to flatter you. What I did is I said that because I think that far too often people can get wrapped up in the sort of superficialities of things. Like, because for any of the stuff that you publish, there's like, you reference me by the name Pollo Del Mar, and there may be a link to like a social media or something in there, but the content of the article, which, it takes multiple clicks to find all that information, but there's some people who would be like, this is not really what a name, a face, a persona that we want associated with art, and the irony of that, of course, to me, is that I started to make small name for myself in the world of professional wrestling on shows where the single most popular wrestling character was a lobster. So I was like, you can accept that he's a freaking lobster, but this is a problem for you? Come on. I'm like, he's a lobster. I'm just pretending to, like I'm just dressed up as a woman, which have you seen more often, a woman or like a lobster that runs around like, which is more ridiculous?
Yeah. No, I appreciate you bringing this up, just because, I've talked in different circles about what is accepted in wrestling and what's not. Like, I'll mention, I just talked to Alley Cat the other day, and it was kind of like just her talking about, okay, well, I get criticized, and she has fans, but there's some criticism like, oh, I dress up as a cat. And I was kind of like, the Undertaker has superpowers for 30 years, but you're gonna have a problem with a girl with whiskers painted on her face. And it's like, yes. Why? Like, I kind of stopped trying to figure out why people are picky about certain stuff, and just focus on, like I said, elevating and trying to just give the people that deserve it a platform, instead of focusing on why somebody is against giving that person that platform. So think
that the fact of the matter is, long before I was actually active and involved with professional wrestling, and where I was just a sheer observer, I was an entertainer. I've been Pollo Del Mar for 15 plus years. And what I recognize is that you're going to connect with some audiences, and which means that no matter what you do, they're going to love it, right? And there's other people that you can bend over backwards and you can try to mold and shape yourself to fit what it is they want, and you'll never make them happy. One of those people I call dad, because, for me growing up, like, nothing I did, like, really met his approval. And I learned to just stop trying. It's very nice to be valued and appreciated. And we, as entertainers and performers, we want a fan base. We want to make people happy. But unfortunately, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to make everyone happy. And you just go on wrestling Twitter, and there's as much hate, if not more hate, spewed towards the most popular wrestlers than there is, fans applauding them. It's just the reality of what we do specifically. And I saw a very interesting comment on social media recently where it said, I think it speaks distinctly to the world of social media that we've come to, that rather than focusing on the matches that are happening over this incredibly jam-packed, week-long festival of professional wrestling, instead of fans being like, I'm so excited about this, or I'm, fascinated by that, there's actually people who are tweeting about which matches in advance they think are going to suck, and it's like, okay, so do I think that we're going to make it through an entire week of wrestling every single night, shows multiple times a day, live and on broadcast, without some matches sucking? I'm not, I'm not stupid. Yeah, there's going to be some that are really not my cup of tea. But are there matches that are announced and upcoming and have already happened in the past few days that I've been so excited about? Hell yes. And I would much rather focus my energy on what I'm really excited about than what, first of all, if you're live, make it your bathroom break. If it's like recorded or whatever you happen to be doing, fast forward through it. You don't need to bitch about it. Just fast forward it. Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how Twitter, like you've probably heard the phrase before, but like Twitter's like an echo chamber, and it's this little fraction, but it's telling how loud that fraction is. And I mean, obviously we use it for work, promoting our various content. We're streaming on Periscope right now, but then you have to deal with that loud vocal minority, and it's just kind of like, when are we going to get the balance? Like, good thing for filter.
You never will. I'm actually a pretty easygoing person, but I'm not happy all the time either, and I'm not happy with my every experience I have. So I don't expect to ever make everyone happy. Do I think that tomorrow, when people show up at Effy's Big Gay Brunch, or when they're streaming Effy's Big Gay Brunch live on Fight TV as part of the collective package, do I think that they're going to have to really, really go out of their way to nitpick and find something they don't love? I absolutely do, because I think that we are going to collectively, we're coming together and we're going to knock it out of the park tomorrow. And but still, even with that said, we're not going to make everyone happy, and that presumably means not everyone even in the show is going to be happy, because we're all critics of ourselves too. We want to do better, we want to be the best, we want to do more, and I know that I've got a little bit of butterflies coming, because I am going to be, to my knowledge, the only one in drag at this event, so surrounded by people who are gays specifically are often the most critical of drag. And so I'm like, oh shit, these girls and boys are going to let me have it if I'm not bringing it 100%. So fingers crossed.
I'm sure you will bring it. I want to ask, in closing, are you getting to enjoy any of the other weekend festivities? I know you're kind of having a little bit of a travel issue on your way to Tampa, but are you going to try to enjoy some of the other events this weekend?
I'm going to try. There's two perspectives on this. First of all, I've already missed hot girl shit. I'm sitting in a car chatting with you, about hot girl shit, or instead of being at hot girl shit right now. And I was so stoked for that, because in a lot of ways, I think that HGS does what BGB does, which is bring together people who are performers from all over, And we are often used to being the minority. And there's a whole show of us. There's a whole show of gays and lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, and other people within our community tomorrow. And today there's an entire card full of amazingly talented women. And I'd really love to be part of that. I knew it was off the, not in the cards. But will I try my best to get to a lot of the other wrestling events this weekend? Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to do that because I'm a huge pro wrestling fan and I want to get to see wrestling live. Like I'm wearing my AEW shirt because I was going to see Dynamite every single week live when I was in Jacksonville, Florida recently for several months. And I was living for that experience. I love pro wrestling. So I definitely want to get to see the other shows. But one of the things that I want to point out is that I'm not just a fan of pro wrestling. I'm on the show, but I'm a fan of the people who I'm on this show with. So just getting to socialize with some of these people and meet these people and work with them, my mind is blown because just a few years ago, I was just sitting in the audience, and then some incredible opportunities were given to me and some more fell in my lap. And I also live by the idea that don't wait for opportunity, make opportunity. So this is a whole collection of opportunities that are just coming at me, and it feels a little overwhelming in a very positive way. Yesterday I was overwhelmed because my phone got stolen, my rental car got canceled for random things that were out of my control. I freaked out this morning because I'm running behind getting to Tampa. But the reality of all of this is that even if I'm arriving in Tampa to do this, without a moment to spare, this is something that I would have never dreamed for myself just a couple years ago. So getting to participate, getting to be part of the show, getting to meet these other really talented people who are also share the same passion that I do, it's really important to me. And I'm very, very grateful that, EFFY and Zicky, who suggested it, and Strong Armed him, and Game Changer Wrestling, and all these people have given me this chance, So, yeah, I hope to catch the shows, but otherwise I just might be at home posting selfies of me with people I'm fans of. I don't know.
I think it's a really important thing to, no matter what point you are in wrestling, whether you're still a fan or performer, to always be a fan. So it's good to see that, you have all of those ties to not only to wrestling, but to the event itself. If you guys want to check it out tomorrow, it's EFFY's Big Gay Brunch. You catch it at 11 a.m. If you're in Tampa, you can get tickets on effygaytampa.eventbrite.com or check it out on Fight. You can buy the event on its own or part of a package through the collective. So a lot to look forward to. I break a leg tomorrow. I'm sure you'll do great. And thanks for joining me. I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about the event.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on too, because this role reversal that's been happening this past week, getting the opportunity to do all these interviews as a talent versus on the flip side where I'm interviewing the talent has been a little bit mind blowing. And, I'm optimistic. I'm hoping that, because I still have more dreams. This is just the beginning of many dreams. And I want Dave Marquez and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood to take notice, because one of my big dreams, I want to work with Heather Monroe and Helston Body, and they're right there in California, as am I. And so there's a whole bunch of eyes that are going to be on this. And like I said, I don't wait for opportunity. I make opportunity. So every moment this weekend is an opportunity to meet people and network and share love and passion. And I appreciate you letting me come on and share my love and passion with you too, Bill. So I appreciate that so much. And I hope to be contributing to the site again real soon.
Absolutely. Enjoy the show this weekend. Everybody watching, check it out and enjoy wrestling. Remember, it's a fun thing that we're all sharing, and look at the positives and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Bye everybody. Thank you so much for watching.